So guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about two phones that Metro is going to have, and actually going to be a couple days. So I'm going to post this on the 22nd. I'm recording it on the 21st, and apparently this phone is going to make its way to I don't want to say T-Mobile because I'm not too sure, but it's definitely going to make its way to Metro on the 23rd. Because the Revvl, I believe, is owned by T-Mobile, if I'm correct, they're probably going to have this phone for both of them, but realistically, a lot of people are going to more likely get the more high-end phones because they have the EIPs, which are monthly payments for people that don't know what that is. While Metro, they're probably going to charge you the regular price for the phone, but with the new Metro Flex plans, you're able to upgrade for free depending on the tier of device that you have or how many years you didn't upgrade. So just kind of keep that in mind. Anyway, let's get into this video. The bad thing is that I don't have a price for these phones, but I do have a spec sheet on the actual T-Mobile website, which would signify that they're going to get the phone, and I'm assuming that the specs are going to be exactly the same for the sister company, Metro by T-Mobile. So with that being said, let's get right into this review and talk some tech specs. So for this section of the video, it's a little small, so you don't have to worry about reading it yourself. I'm going to go ahead and read this. If you have a full screen computer, you can probably see it just fine. But for anyone that doesn't, I'm going to go down the main specifications that people talk about when it comes to these devices. And I'm going to call this the 7 and then the 7 Pro. That's how I'm going to do it side by side. So some specs are different for each one, but just keep in mind, I'm going to do the Revvl first and then a direct comparison of each category: display, processor, memory, everything. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and skip the design part. The only thing I'm going to talk about is the color, which is Arctic Gray for the regular 7, which is the one that you see to the left right here. And then we have the Azurite Blue. I don't know how to say that, but that's the blue one right here. So the blue one's going to have the better cameras, I would assume so. The design is certainly better. 6.5 inch screen, close to 6.6 IPS LCD. For the regular 7 model, it's going to have full HD plus 1080p, 1080 times 2408 for the resolution for the screen, and the glass is 2.5D. As for the 7 Pro, the glass is going to be the same, 2.5D, but the screens are going to be 6.7 and it's going to be an AMOLED screen. So for the people that aren't familiar with AMOLED, the quality of the screen, the colors are going to be better. Of course, it does depend on the type of screen that they use and how much they put into it. It is a Revvl, so just temper your expectations. It's not going to come out of the box looking like an iPhone and a Samsung, so don't think that. Maybe more like a Motorola device. But what's that cat doing? Oh, she's playing with the thing I gave her. Anyway, the bread tie. Full resolution, 1080 by 2436. So the display is a little bit better, but the AMOLED is going to be the difference. So when you put them side by side, I'm sure there'll be comparisons where people will be talking about things like the display. Processor is the same. Qualcomm Snapdragon 6. There's no reason for me to even read this side because it's literally the same processor. Right here we have the RAM. 6 gigs for the Revvl 7 and 128 gigs internally. 8 gigs of RAM for the 7 Pro and 256 gigabytes internally. So that's not bad. Most phones, in my opinion, should at least come with 256, especially with a lot of these games like Call of Duty being practically 30 gigs, Genshin Impact being 22, 23 gigs, Diablo Immortal being 20-something gigs. A lot of these phones are the games require more space now. So I do think 256 gigs should be the standard for most phones. Unfortunately, it's not. It says user memory available out of 128 is going to be 97 for the 128 phone, which is pretty low. I don't know why it takes all that memory just to run the software. It's Alcatel software. They don't really have themes and different things, but okay. And it's going to be 255 for the 7 Pro in terms of usable memory. So the memory that is not usable, the reason why it's so low is because that's what it takes to actually run the software for the phone. And again, that doesn't make much sense to me, but maybe it's a lot of bloatware on the phone. I'm not too sure. Operating system, they're both going to ship with Android 14. They both have facial recognition and a fingerprint. I'm not worried about that part. Megapixels, this is where it starts to get a little bit different. I will hope so. 50 megapixel main, same over here. 2 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth, Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The 2 megapixel macro is absolutely worthless. The 2 megapixel depth is going to be worthless. They tend to put those cameras in phones just to say that they have it, but the reality is they're practically worthless in real photography. Now, you might see a minor difference here and there when you compare it to particular devices, but when it comes to actual photography, no, it's not going to do much of a difference. LED flash, well, it should. The video will go up to 2K, 30 frames, 1080p up to 3060 frames. Now, 1080p 3060 frames is not bad in my opinion. A lot of the Metro by T-Mobile prepaid phones, like some of the OnePlus devices, they stopped going to 60 frames. I don't know why they did that. As a matter of fact, the Motorola Flip, if I'm correct, it did do 60 frames, I think, in 1080p, but when you went to like Ultra HD or something like that, it only did like 30 frames, and it was like, ugh, like for the price tag, it should have been a lot better. Over here, we have the 50 megapixel main, the OIS main, 5 megapixel ultra wide. I am curious of how that's going to be, but a measly 5 megapixels is nothing to really get excited about. 2 megapixel depth, 2 megapixel macro, they're not too useful. And the dual LED flash type, interesting. 2K up to 30 frames, 1080p, same thing, 30 to 60 frames. The front camera for the 7, the regular 7, is going to have 8 megapixels, screen fill light, whatever that means, and 1080p up to, okay, so the screen is only going to be able to do 30 frames per second, not 60 frames. You would think they would just throw in a camera that could do 60 frames just for fluidity, but I don't know why they won't do that. These companies are charging more money and giving you less of a product. So it'll give you more internal memory, as you can see, and more RAM, but they're taking away certain features so that you don't get that flagship experience. It gives you just enough to be able to survive, but for the people out there that really want like better, they're going to have to spend more money, unfortunately, and that's how companies are doing things. So the 7 Pro has 16 megabytes on the front camera, which is double the size. That's good, and the rest of the specifications are basically the same for the front camera. So give me 1 second, guys. All right, so the battery, sorry, I'm losing my voice, so I do apologize for that water break. The battery, both batteries are 5,000 mAh, which I think 5,000 is pretty much the standard of what all phones should be at this point. They do need to start moving up. The optimization for Android can be very draining with all the stuff that you can do in the background, like converting videos and uploading videos and watching YouTube while you're playing this game, Pokemon Go or Call of Duty. It's so much that you can do. So yeah, they do need to have a bigger battery, in my opinion. Now, since the talk time on the 7 is 37 hours, while the Pro model is going to have 35. Slight difference, and I would assume it's probably because of the RAM and the processor in order for the RAM to run. And 8 gigs of RAM is not bad. I'll give it that. Standby time up to 594 hours, up to 500 hours standby for the Pro model. Again, standby is when you just leave your phone sitting down and you're not touching it, you're not doing anything. Realistically, a person that uses their phone every day is going to charge their phone probably every day or every other day, depending on whether you're on social media, whether you're playing games, whether you have children, you're letting them use it, whether you're receiving emails, phone calls. It really varies on your use. So, don't take my word for it. You're going to have to use the phone yourself and understand your use. Charge time is 132 minutes for the regular model, which is an hour and a half, just slightly a little bit more, 2 minutes, while 119 for the other one. It's not that dramatic of a difference, but it certainly is better. Charging tech, 15 wired, quick charge. Let's say quick charge 3.0. I probably got that wrong, quick charge. But anyway, the point is it's 15 wired, while the Pro model is actually 25. So you're going to get a much faster, not a much faster charging speed, but you're going to get a faster charging speed. And to add, it has 15 watts wireless charging. Now, I kind of wish they put the amount of time it took for the wireless charging to fully charge, because I'm sure there are people out there that have an entire workstation. I know I do. And I have wireless chargers everywhere. I barely use them, but I still have them. I more so use the MagSafe connector on the back of the phone for Apple devices. I really like that, and it works very well. But anywho, the networks are not identical, but they're close. But again, when you read this type of stuff, the average consumer is not going to know what this is. As long as you have certain internet speeds, certain download speeds, 5G, things like that, I don't think that the average person is really going to care. This type of specs right here is more so for the people that traditionally have to have a certain particular type of phone in order to use. But if you're a true techie, you wouldn't use a Revvl anyway as a primary phone. I'm not trying to make fun of it or anything. It's made for a certain market, a certain class of person, like someone that wants something nice, someone that wants a nice size screen, a decent battery life, but they don't want to break the bank. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Not everyone wants to walk out to the store and pay $1,000 worth, like I did, directly out for a phone. That's not normal. Connectivity, both have 5G. Looks like the upload speeds are similar. The download speeds, the upload speeds. Okay, so we'll skip that. They both have voice over LTE, voice over Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, and I don't know why they're using old Bluetooth, but the 7 has a 5.1 Bluetooth, while the Revvl Pro, which I should have just said the Pro model, has Bluetooth 5.2. Both have mobile hotspot. For you guys that don't know what that is, I'll show you real fast. Let me pull up my camera, show you guys. Every phone has this. That's an Android and Apple device at this point in time. If you don't have it, it means your phone is just too old. So if you go to the settings of your phone for Apple users, right? You go to, it'll say personal hotspot, and you're able to actually use your personal hotspot. It don't matter if you know my code, because I change it all the time. I only use it for certain things, so it is what it is. Androids, you normally go to the settings of the device, I believe it is, and I don't know if it's a connectivity or something, but sometimes depending on whether it's OnePlus or Motorola or Samsung, there's also an option where you could change your password. You could put it on 5 gigahertz if you want to, if you want a faster connection, and you can use it for hotspot. Turn your device into a hotspot. I do want to preference by saying that you got to make sure that you're on the proper cell phone plan, because it'll be restricted if you're not paying for that service. You won't be able to get it for free. Both have NFC, so you know, if you want to do contact payments and different things, you can do that. USB-C on both of them, though the regular 7 has 2.0 while the Pro has 3.0, which is funny because you would think 3.0 would be on the iPhone 15, but apparently it's not. I don't think it is. Sound, YouTube Music, I don't know why. Oh, Music Player, it comes with YouTube Music. I personally use on Androids, if it's not a Samsung device, I use Samsung Music for Samsung devices. If it's not a Samsung device, I normally use, I should know what this is called, Power Amp. That's what it is, because I paid for it. Let's see, they both have headphone jacks, so for the people out there that love headphones, you are good to go. Preloaded applications, these are basic Google applications, a calendar, Chrome, Clock, Drive, Meet, Gmail, you know, all the basic stuff. Inbox, the regular 7 model comes with a USB. It doesn't look like it comes with the actual box to plug it into the wall. Same thing with the 7 Pro model. So with that being said, I mean, there are some specifications of how you get the model and adding a line, but I don't worry about that because this is more of a Metro by T-Mobile thing. They're going to be entirely different. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to pay the regular price for the phone, or if you're a part of that Metro Flex plan, I don't know when it actually kicks in terms of when you can do an upgrade. Check with your local store on that, because I'm not too sure, or customer service, they can let you know. But some people might upgrade to this phone. And again, like I said before, I don't want to shame anybody in my speaking. Mid-tier phones are not bad devices, but you do have to also understand that if it's a Revvl, if it's a Alcatel device, they tend to be made worse than other mid-tier devices. Like when you compare an A35 or A15 or certain devices to the less known devices, they tend to stack up a lot better because they still have that Samsung software. They tend to still have that swipe to the left, the message, swipe to the right, and you have your customization. You have your little hidden menus where you can pull stuff out and like Samsung. The software on Samsung, in my opinion, is just really phenomenal when it comes to the everyday phone, high end or low end. I do think that if these Revvl devices, if the OnePlus and all these other phones start sticking and paying attention more to their software, that they would be a much bigger contender. Though the phone I'm really waiting for this year, though, for Metro is going to be what OnePlus model are they going to release next. That's the phone that I'm waiting for, because you know it's going to probably have 60, 65, 70, 80 watt charging, and I'm like, I love fast charging phones. But anyway, that is the video. For the people out there, I will consider getting this phone just to review it for you guys. If you're interested, in the description below, let me know. It won't be right away, because I do have some other stuff to review, probably like within a couple weeks, but I would actually buy the phone once it's released, depending on the price tag. It'll be one of the two, not both. Probably the 7 Pro model. It is what it is. But anyway, like and subscribe, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you like news like this, let me know in the description below, and I will definitely talk about more stuff. Anyway, peace. See y'all in the next video.